If I just turned down the volume on my phone. Um, so
good.
it was the Rangers AGM. Wolf, I'll start with you. How did it go?
Just the usual, lots and lots of words and not really a lot of substance. It was quite a nice slideshow about the player trade model and how it doesn't work. And the only time we've made money on it's the year we sold Calvin Bassey, but that's something we already knew anyway, and it's something they're addressing. But we've heard that before at previous AGMs. Yeah, it was disappointing that they cut the question short after about, I don't know, half an hour. There was loads of people still waiting to ask questions, and they cut it short. I think that's really poor, given that everybody present is a shareholder and they've got a right to ask a question. You know, they could at least have taken the questions from the people that were on their feet, waiting to ask questions. But yeah, it was a lot of words and not really a lot of substance, to be fair.
What did we learn, Trev?
Not a hell of a lot. I was saying to Will before, there was a lot of the usual, just giving us the chat, the kind of usual AGM talk that you normally get. There was a couple of key things that did come out of it, which I found interesting. The first chap that came up with a Q&A was talking about the shenanigans last the start of the season when we had to go to Hampden, and he actually beat me. That was the question I was going to go in with, honestly. So they've appointed a new fella. I missed his surname, sorry. A fella called Paul, wherever his surname is, to oversee all things at Ibrox in the stadium, which I think is a good thing because it's a bit of a joke, really, what happened, and we should be having someone that looks after the infrastructure side of things. But the big thing is the existing board structure will be changed. They're listening to the fans in that respect. They're going to have basically some more folk that are local, independent as well, which I think is a good thing. That will be happening from next year onwards. Watch this space. And if Martin's trying to read my notes, that's Trev talk, man. Only I can understand that. It's like a cycle.
No, I can't see the comments. I can just see the comments on Trev's laptop, and it's how weird is it that Martin can look to his left and see someone? So,
Aye,
fun and games. But it's the kind of usual talk, isn't it? Though, like that usual answers you get, Wolf.
yeah, they don't really tell you very much because you can't get a supplementary to the question you ask originally, which I suppose is fair enough because you can end up with the first questioner being there for the whole duration of the Q&A. But yeah, bizarrely, they let Alistair Johnson talk, and he was speaking a lot about American sports and how they do it over there, and they're looking to bring in American investment. Blah, blah. I mean, we've heard that for so many years. I don't know whether that's possibly the only reason he's still on the board. I've got absolutely no idea. Somebody did ask a question about did the board think it's time that they move on and allow other people to invest, which I thought was a brave question to ask.
what was the answer?
We're doing the best. We're doing the best we can. Just the usual stuff and nonsense. Let's be honest. The main big hitting investors weren't actually on the platform, and half the directors weren't even there. Which for an AGM is quite shoddy with a month's notice of it. But it's always the same, I guess. Noticeably this year there was no apologies from directors that weren't there. Normally they say, apologies from such and such who can't be here, but there was none of that. The only person they said couldn't be there was Joe Potter, the women's manager, but she was the.
Was she there last year?
She was, but the women's technical director was there in her stead. But I don't know, he just sat there and didn't say nothing.
That's true.
I mean, last year they had a Q&A with the two team managers. This year they had nothing.
I remember that 2 years ago at Armadillo, and they've stopped it this year.
Yep.
Why?
Yep, don't know. But
right, okay.
I mean, Donald Gillies was there, but they didn't. He just basically sat there, didn't say anything. There was no questions directed at him either. Philip came up, was quite chatty. He he
cracking some jokes, was he?
Yeah, he said that. Honestly, he didn't implore the players to go out and put on a performance last night because he had to face the crowd at the AGM today.
Please, there'll be a win bonus if you do it. A special win bonus.
that got a laugh. That got a laugh.
He's a funny character, isn't he? I mean, normally we'd be doing this outside. Honestly, we're parked right beside the Walter Smith statue. But it's like Glasgow. It's absolutely peeing it down the now, so we can't actually go out. So honestly, we're here. But
what was Clement specifically asked?
What did I have to do down for Clement? He came in and started talking about basically youth and he would love to give youth more of a chance. But he said what we all think, that quite a lot of them are not good enough, Martin, to actually step up, and it's win-win-win.
Did he say that about, or was it in so many words?
What he said was towards the end that the bar for Rangers is away up here, and the youth academy at the moment's here, and they're working on. He says it's a Scottish football problem. They're working to try and get some mechanism that they can have a satellite club was the word that he used. I wish you stop opening that door. Satellite's really off put.
Sorry.
They're looking at trying to get some sort of satellite system in where our youth players can get playing at a higher level. He mentioned a second division. There's no way they're going to get them in the championship, I don't think. But he's looking at. He quoted like they do in Belgium and Holland and interestingly Croatia. But the levels are so far apart that they're hoping to try and get the level closed. But he says it's not just a Rangers problem; it's a Scottish football problem. So they have to get all the authorities on board on that. So that was basically his closing gambit. When, to be fair, he came in and spoke when he really didn't have to, because the question wasn't directed at him, and he said, "Look, I want to speak just before you close the meeting." So yeah, that was quite interesting.
Yeah.
What I can see for some of the comments that I'm seeing on my left-hand side here, Wolf, is apparently you look like a mafia don.
I knew I should have kept my tie on. I actually felt like the most overdressed person in there because I always make an effort for the AGM and put a suit on because at the end of the day I'm a shareholder attending my shareholders meeting.
That's brilliant.
But I'll take Mafia Don. I'm a bit disappointed my chauffeur forgot his hat. But
Carpool karaoke as well, I believe so.
Hold on, I will make sure that I'm coming out of this just now. I don't know what I've done. But in terms of the G51, did you ask a question on that?
I did, right.
Yeah.
So the boy in front of me, I was going to ask about the Ibrox stadium upgrades, and we're still there, I think. There we go. Works. You can never connect it. Just try to connect to my phone right there. So the boy in front of me was asking about the Ibrox upgrades, and I wanted to actually ask about that as well. So he snuck in front of me. But I did follow up basically saying, can you commit or can you tell us if you will be carrying on those works at the end of this season, way in advance, learning the lessons you've learned, or are you going to plead the fifth? And James Taylor was a bit of a smarty pants and went, right, okay, I'm not going to plead the fifth, but we will take the lessons we have learned and we will come back to you later. More of the fluff answers. G51. That boy that's, I can't remember his name, the big Rangers fella that's got that YouTube channel, he's got the trademark rights to it, but I don't think that's an issue. It's down to working with their partners, their catering partners. That's one of the delays. I can't see opening anytime soon. Maybe before the end of the season. It's been heavily delayed. We won't know anything more until next year. I'm interested in infrastructure stuff. I know it sounds sad, mate, but it's about the club stuff.
Yeah, what he said was because they changed the catering partner back to Elior, that was a major contributing factor to the delays with the sports bar, because obviously, you know, there's going to be catering and stuff in it, and it's quite a lot of what they need to do. He said in the next sort of 3 or 4 weeks they're hoping to, I think that was the right timeline that he gave, they're hoping to be able to have some more discussions about it. They want to open out to fan involvement as well, because it's all right for them to say this is how they think it'll work on paper. That's what I took from it. They want, I mean, quite who they're going to ask, I don't know. I mean, are they going to do, you know, are they going to do a sort of Q&A thing of the punters that go into the fan zone? You know, because it's effectively that's the sort of punters they're looking for, guys that come down on a match day and go for a pint.
Well, we know the real reason. It's because these self-pouring beer taps, they're actually thinking that, realising that's actually a bad idea when it comes to Rangers supporters and fans in general. That's going to end in tears.
Yeah, it probably is.
I can see a note there, right?
Right.
And it's not really a question or an answer, but it says, question on selling for the benefit of the club. Answer was nothing at all from Gilligan. Can you expand on that, Trev?
This was a player trading model. I think this is Trev notes, so this is why he was asking for translation, guys. You see, there was a bit on. I don't take too much of the financials down because we already got them, didn't we? And I'm not a financial expert, so the player trading model is big part of the reason, not the only reason, why we've lost so much money. We're not getting nowhere near the same kind of money in as we used to. And also, and this got a kind of from the audience when they asked about how much money we've actually made in the summer, Martin, from transfers. It was only 800,000. No, even a million.
It's in the accounts as 800 grand, and it was asked. The last question was, one of the last questions was, can you confirm it was 800 grand? And they said, yeah, it was 800 grand. We could only go by what the market was willing to pay for the players. I mean, you're talking about there's 5 players involved in that, including Todd Cantwell.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're talking 800 grand, including a player that not so many years ago was getting sold for 7-8 figures. So you've got to question, was it down to the market value? I don't think it was, but it was obviously a push to get them off the wage bill, because they did point out the wage bill's down by £6 million. You know what I mean? That's a major achievement in a summer.
It is. The funny thing about, obviously, with Clement being there, I would have expected, and I don't know how they pick who asks questions at these AGMs, right? Maybe used to
Just stand in queue.
Just stand in a queue.
Yeah.
And nobody asked Clement about the start to the season that he's had, how he feels about his style of play. None of this.
I think it's because, well, for these things, when you're a shareholder, well, that's important. A lot of questions will be around the final thing. The managers tend to not get asked too many questions in that, nor do they have to answer too many questions. It's usually the other board members that you would never get a chance to speak to, Martin, but other fan media and that will get a chance to speak to Phil. So I think that's why. But Phil did pipe up, didn't he?
Yeah, I think generally the manager's just there because he's a manager of the football club.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't recall any question like that ever being directed at a manager at an AGM, and I think if it was, the chairman or the company secretary would come out and say, look, that's not really why we're here. That's a footballing question, not like because you wouldn't get that at any other AGM.
Did we have one of them? Were they gone as well, secretary?
Well, no, company secretary was he hosted the whole.
That boy, yeah.
You know, but. Yeah, I don't think that's the sort of question, Martin, that you generally ask. But Phil did like to say he came in. His last gambit was about the fact that Rangers standards are up here and the academy standards, because it wasn't actually directed at him. That was directed at Niels Coppin. That question, and Phil said, "Look, I want to speak about this." So, and he's not.
Is that him saying right now, buddy? He doesn't see any youth players at all that are good enough. Was that a way for him to get that across to supporters?
Yeah, sort of. I mean, he did say. I think
he's probably right.
To me, the way that he pitched it, and it'll all come out because the club will release the whole lot on the YouTube later, I would imagine, because they usually do.
Yeah.
You know, I think for me, it was basically him having a pop at Scottish football, saying, look, we need to have a look at this. You know, it's not just down to Rangers. He said that. He said, it's not Rangers, it's a Scottish football problem. For me, everybody else saying, look, you need to all get on the same page here, because he said a lot of the other people involved in this don't seem to think it's a good idea. That's paraphrasing what he said. So I think he was having a veiled dig at the rest of Scottish football, saying, look, if you want to help Scottish football, to help you in the long run as well.
But what's the counter of that, Wilf? Until last night, at least, and I hope it carries on, until last night's performance, the youth have not been getting a chance, and all these other players have been letting us down for the most part recently. So I wish I'd asked that in hindsight now.
Yeah, but youth didn't get a chance last night either. There was no youth players on the bench. The only
and they never get a chance later on. Yeah, no, you're right.
The only one you could even say was a youth player was Leon King, who didn't get off. I mean,
you didn't bring him on.
With 20 minutes to go, we're 4-0 up against Kilmarnock. Bring Leon King on. What's the point of bringing on Keith Dill? He's not there for the long run. Bring on. I don't want to make this in a post-match for last night.
It was the same game in France. It was in France as well. It was the same. They never brought on.
Well, he brought Bailey Rice, but the game was done. Bring on more of them.
I want to see exactly Curtis as well. He never got a chance. So if that's as good as we're getting, and he's not giving them much of a chance, what does that say?
Yeah, I mean, I get they had a game on Tuesday night, and it was a tough old shift for them, especially after doing the 10 men against the professional side.
Yeah,
but you know, I mean, if Leon King's only on the bench to make up the numbers last night, put another couple, put Finlay Curtis on the bench to make up the numbers.
He picked up a slight knock in that B team game, but I get what you mean.
Or Bailey Rice, or whoever it is, just to make up the numbers.
Well, Bailey Rice was sitting right in front of us in the club deck.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So
but there's a question here for View Pro Tech Limited. Why was it not asked why Coppin has been given a promotion? Was there any chatter about that at all?
No, there wasn't. No, it's a good shout.
It was somebody did ask why the manager. Well, somebody asked why the manager was given an extension to the contract, and John Gilligan said, "Look, we wanted to give him a bit of certainty about his future." He says, "We've gone from having to make rash decisions mid-season and get rid of managers. What to give the manager a bit of stability. I don't really see that contract extension was necessary for that. But that was directly asked. I can't remember if Niels Coppin was in on that, was part of that question or not. But no, it wasn't asked directly why that role was all rolled into one.
No. Again, from Trev's notes, from from the Trev notes, Alistair Johnson talking about what it's like to be a Ranger. Really good speech, actually. Was this just one of these I want to get
Puff piece. It's a puff
Yeah,
piece.
was that a puff
Aye.
piece?
I mean, like, to be fair, Wilf was like, he's just blowing smoke up our backsides. And he is, but like, see, sometimes Wilf, I want to hear that more from these guys, because I think some of them are maybe too business-like and a bit too cold sometimes. And Alistair Johnson, you don't hear much from. So what's he actually doing? You know, he stays in the States a lot of the time, and we kind of found out why a little bit. He is over there because part of the reason he's trying to get investment for the club. He said he's trying really hard to get investment over there. He won't bother down in England because they've already got the investment. And in America, the other Americans invest in British football, as we already see.
Yeah.
He wants them to invest in Rangers. So he is pushing hard for that at the moment. He comes over every 3 or 4 weeks, and he's trying to drum up interest. So just the usual thing, you know, what it's like to be a Ranger and winning and all that. Clement said something similar as well. High standards. So he went on for a bit too long. I could see Gilligan going, hurry up, I've got my half-time pie to go for here, mate.
Did it feel like the directors and board members that were there wanted out? Did it feel like they didn't want to be there?
Well, Gilligan cut it short because it is normally over an hour, isn't it, Wilf? But there was people stand. The last question from the last boy was, he was complaining. He was like, listen, people have made a real effort to be here, right? And you're cutting it pretty short. There's no too many questions been asked. There's quite a few people left. And do you know who was left on the left-hand side, Wilf? I don't know if you could see. The chap every year, the chap with the walking stick that always asks a question about disabled fans, and he's got a point, but he goes to the nth degree and he goes absolutely full tonto on the board. Do you remember him?
Yeah, I know the boy you mean.
It was him. So I could see Gallagher going,
I escaped that. I escaped that. Right, okay, just finishing up then. In fact, final question on the AGM, and I asked it when we first started, now we've spoke about it. Did we learn anything that we didn't already know?
Apart from the restructuring of the board and
the new guy from Ibrox just looking after the stadium.
which I don't think had even been announced yet. Then no, not really.
No, they were the main things, and you should learn a wee bit more and find out a wee bit more. But the rest of it was puff piece stuff and pleading the fifth, and it's normal, unfortunately, Martin. But
right, well, we've got 2 minutes because I know that Wilf needs to go and catch a train. I know that Trev doesn't really need to catch a train, but kind of has to catch a train. Yesterday's game, Wilf, me and you were there. Trev wasn't because he was too busy cleaning his mates' house.
Busy building furniture, man.
How much do we take for that game last night?
At the moment, absolutely nothing unless we build on it on Sunday. I mean, we put 6 past Ross County at Hampden earlier in the season and didn't build on it. So putting 6 past a poor Kilmarnock team, not taking anything away from the performance last night.
A Kilmarnock team that we do struggle against.
Yeah, they beat us the last time out because we were absolutely rotten. I mean, I'll be interested to see how he approaches the game on Sunday because it was noticeable that the manager went with 2 strikers last night and it worked. So is he going to keep that up for a potentially tough away game up at Ross County because they will make it difficult for us? Yeah, we'll learn nothing unless we move on and build on it. I mean, it could be the building block for a fantastic run of games. Then again, it could be back to the usual on Sunday. I hope it's the former rather than the latter.
And just finally, Trevor, I've got to ask about Igaman, who again, I don't know, did you watch the game?
Yeah.
Right, at least you watched it.
Aye,
So
I'm not missing a game.
That's only 50% staunch points.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Igaman for me was the shining light last night. I know that Hadji played brilliant. Cherny again was amazing. But Igaman, we were told for the start of the season, the boy's not ready. He's not physically ready yet to play in the Scottish game. By God, that boy has got some touch. He can move with the ball. He can score goals. He was a sensation for me last night.
Did you see his interview on Rangers TV?
No.
That was pretty. Have you seen that? Well,
no.
It's pretty good. He's struggling with the language, so he's got a local translator in the restaurant.
I did see
a Moroccan restaurant. He hired them. The boy in the restaurant, the guy in the back, the cook, he's hired him as a translator. It's brilliant. Yeah. Igaman's brilliant. I understand why you waited for a while to play him. I get it, but needs must meant that he should have probably played a bit sooner. due to how poor we've been up front recently. Well, before the last couple of games. He is a sensation. Give him more time. Give Danilo more time as well.
Him and Danilo linking up as well.
Well, 2 strikers up front. I nearly fell backwards. It wasn't quite 4-4-2, was it? It was like more 1-1, I guess.
Kind of 4-4-1-1, wasn't it?
Aye, which is, I guess that's normal.
It's a 4-2-3-1, but yeah.
So you're never going to see the 4-4-2, but it's just nice to see 2 strikers up front. And I've said to the boys before, I'm glad we've actually stopped playing 2 defensive type midfielders against jobbers at home. We should never be doing that. We should be playing 1. I love Barron. I love Raskin, but only...
Definitely fell out the loft.
I did. Thank God I didn't. There's a lot of merchandise up there. If you know, you know. So you've totally lost my train of thought. But I absolutely loved the game. Absolutely brilliant. I'm going to be quietly excited up my loft, but I'm not going to be too excited because it's like a partner that keeps breaking your heart. So I'm just hoping that I'll be cautiously optimistic that it carries on. But brilliant, more lads.
Right, well, we better go before
Sunday's the telltale, isn't it?
Well, yeah, we better go before Wilf has an aneurysm because he's stressed out his body.
He's got a mafia contract to go and do.
Yeah, he's got a hit to go and do.
Absolutely.
Make sure, folks, if you're watching on YouTube, that you like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. All the links are in the description for memberships as well. And of course, give us a like and a share.
I just did. There you go.
Did you like it?
I did.
Does that only get 3 likes? Does this show only get 3 likes? That's unacceptable.
No,
It must
surely
have
not.
more. It must have more. Anyway, folks, we'll be back tomorrow for the afternoon rabble. I'm not 100% sure what's going out for members today, but there is something going out, I promise. But we're back tomorrow for your afternoon rabble and then your Friday night rabble. So thank you for tuning in, folks, and we'll speak to you all very, very soon.